Hey everybody, it's Bust with Bust Builds Decks number 46. Today, we'll be battling with a 3-star Sett up against the 5-star quest, the Frost Witch, doing battle against Lissandra. And so, again, before we dive in, as we mentioned in the previous video, I'm going to be unlocking life's biggest group quest here in the course of the next few weeks. It's really going to put a hindrance on my ability to make content, and so I know we have a handful of daily followers out here really enjoy getting that Bust voice every day in their morning, and it's going to be kind of hard to do for a few months, I'm sure. And so don't freak out. We haven't disappeared. We aren't gone. We'll definitely be back, but definitely going to be limited in my content creation capacity here in the next few weeks. And so with that out of the way, battling again with Sett, very similar to what we brought in our previous video against Aurelian Soul. As we like to speak to in every one of these videos, we ask ourselves, how do we do three things, right? How do we scale, how do we rally, and how do we do an in-combat removal spell? And Sett just does it all, right? So Sett has the Knuckle Up at level 1 and level 2 to where when you play 6 mana in a round or 12 mana in a round, you give a bonus to all of your units. Fantastic. That's a great way to have your units scale. And then the big kind of build-around card for the Sett deck is going to be Bout Security, another card that has a big scaling component tied into it. So when you summon the Bout Security, you give all the other Bout Securities +1/+1. So all of these abilities tied together, spending the mana, playing the Bout Securities, gives us that scaling that we're looking for. Piece number 2, we want to find a rally, as I've just started to call it, elusive overwhelm or rally, however you want to go about it. And Sett has a lot of that as well, just naturally. He has the Bet on Sett ability. Oh, wrong one. He has the Knuckle Up number 2 ability that when you spend 12 mana, you get to rally, so that covers off the rally piece. Also has a handful of elusive units in the deck, and so it gives you a bit of a backup plan in case that initial Bout Security plan does not work. Last but not least, Sett has a couple of ways built in to do the removal thing. Within combat, he has access to where are you at? Not Attentive Accountant. He has access to tag out the 5 mana form, allowing us to recall a unit in the middle of combat, and then Sett himself flips into Facebreaker, giving us a stun onto 2 enemy units. And so that covers, you know, all the bases. The big questions have been answered. We have the scaling, we have the rally, we have the removal spell, and so Sett, to me, is a champion that's really just about fine-tuning the deck and really honing in on the things that it's good at, cutting out these cards that aren't spectacular like Zephyr Stage and Coastal Defender, and really increasing your ability to both draw Bout Security and have it do big and impressive things. And so to tie into that end, as far as our relics go, a slight update from the previous video. We're still using the Archangel Staff Grand General's counter plan kind of combo, if you will. I've really enjoyed how well this works with Sett. A couple of the kind of combinations we'll see with Sett are we'll just completely spend all of our mana on turn on the 5 mana turn, putting Sett onto the board. We then get to go into the next turn with full spell mana, play 2 Bout Securities. We have the spell mana left over for the coin, and then we can play 2 more Bout Securities. And so it gives you a very strong finisher on your 6 mana turn. Otherwise, if the Bout Security hasn't turned up, just generating those removal spells in the Facebreaker, the Face Smasher, the Sett Puncher, whatever his flip spell is actually called, is very useful in terms of just stalling out the game. Getting that double removal spell is quite good. The change that we have in this one, in the previous video, we brought Spell Shield in our common relic slot. Today, we're going to be bringing the Storm Razor for quick attack. I found that we were less interested in protecting Sett from spells and more interested in quick attack challenging units down in combat because it's very challenging to actually get Sett to flip. I know he has this the first time when I would drop below 1 health when attacking, give me barrier thing, but if we're attacking with Sett multiple times because we've done rallies and stuff, then we want to have access to more and more combats, less so have access to the Spell Shield. Now, we'll see within this adventure if we regret this decision as we battle up against Lissandra and her collection of Entombs and Buried in Ices and the like, but I think this will most certainly help us get there to the final boss. And so that is it. That is Sett. That is who we're doing battle with. Where'd you go, the Frost Witch? Let's jump on in, see if we can't get ourselves a good old run in. Okay, exciting stuff, good things. See who pops up here at the end. Okay, where you at? Here we go, support champion. Give us something good. Give us something exciting. So what do we got? Nothing that I'm like too excited about. I don't like Fizz. I don't think that he really like adds too much to these decks. Like Fizz to me is just like a very high-powered aggro champion. And when you're trying to do 100 damage to Lissandra, Fizz doesn't really help in that sense. Now, adding in Bilgewater is kind of interesting. There's a lot of coin-based cards in Bilgewater out of the Jack kit, but I don't think they're strong enough to want to go and chase after. So we'll pass on Fizz. Annie is always exceptionally strong. A 1-mana champion coming down on the first turn just gives you a great way to spend all of your items throughout the course of the game, right? If you have a lot of really high-powered items on your champion, you'd rather get those items on board on turn 1 as opposed to turn 7, and Annie comes down fast. She's also kind of locked and loaded here with the rally banner, which is quite good. The downside to Annie is she's a little bit off theme, right? We're kind of looking to be defensive with our kind of combo deck of Sett, and she doesn't really add anything to that. Down here with the Darkness package, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think we'll just take a roll. What do we got up here next? And so kind of interesting stuff here. One of the really powerful abilities in any Sett deck is going to be the mana deposit. So when I'm summoned, refill mana equal to my cost. And so that gives us the ways to kind of cheat the Sett abilities and the mana spend abilities. So if we need to spend 12 mana in a turn, we play Talia for 5, immediately get 5 back. That really helps us kick that off. The downside of Talia is the landmarks all suck, and Talia doesn't do anything without landmarks. And so it's a very tempting champion to pick, but the rest of these cards are just so bad, right? I don't want Stone Weaving. I definitely don't want Stone Weaving, shuffling more Stone Weavings into the deck. So we'll skip over that. Pantheon, not really interested in. We don't have any targeted stuff, and the Lurkers suck, and so we'll skip over that. And finally, some good cards. Lots of good boys turning up here at the very end. I'm curious how we want to go about this. So if we stop and take a peek at this, a variety of interesting things. And so Kayn, always good. I really enjoy the Kayn kit. One of the powerful things he has going on here are both the Keeper of the Wave, Keeper of the Box. Keeper of the Box has the Power Rift, and the Darkened Lodestone has the Power Rift, and so they're very easy to play on the first turn of the game as we draw a bunch of cards in the board opener. Kayn also quite strong here with the Titan's Axe. 5/8 Kayn coming in and doing a bunch of striking quite good. The other things coming up here, Bard has the mana deposit as we just spoke to, and then Bird is a nice strong early game play, so kind of interested in it. The Cosmic Binding with the stun attached to it, I'm not entirely opposed to. I don't love it, I don't hate it. Down here, Ornn is kind of okay. We're not really having any equipment combos with Ornn, and we don't have any strike combos, and so I'm a little bit less interested in him, but he is a solid late game choice. And so to me it comes down to, do we want Kayn or do we want Bard? And I'm going to end up taking Bard in this situation. Now, the way I look at these is like, do we have a real build around champion, right? If we want to take our singular champion and just like stack every single item onto it, then we would want to take Kayn, right? Kayn is a nice supporting role in that sense. He gives us a little bit of lifesteal, he gives us a little bit of sustain and some interactivity, but without like having to really invest in him, right? We can still play some cultist cards and have Kayn come into hand. Here we're just going to stack Bard. Bard is always good, even if you don't draw him. He's good in the sense here with the mana deposit. He's good with the card draw on his flip. We're probably just going to ignore Sett for the rest of the run and focus in on the Bard here. I'm very happy to come in and pick that one up. And so, long story short, that looks good. Let's scroll on down to the powers. Anything interesting here? Allies have Overwhelm, always strong. Can't stop, won't stop. I don't think we're going to really be using with this. Allied buffs are permanent. If we were, I don't think there's anything that works with that. Then when the Phantom Prank's not doing anything here. So, all right, we'll take the Overwhelm, save the rerolls as we get down to the big shop. Gold chest me 100 Gs. And what do we got? The item I always like to check first. And oh man, Sett with a, it's very strong. Sett with the capture attached to him. Very tempting to take, and then Bard with the rally is also quite good. We'll probably take one of these two. Let me think on it for a minute. We'll come back to it. As far as these other cards without spending the rolls, Ebb don't want, Knuckle don't really want, Withering Whale It's kind of neat that doubling dices, but I'm not super interested. I'm always interested in these Iceborne gauntlets, but double agent is a little bit expensive, and it kind of sucks as a unit, so that's a bit unfortunate there. The cheapness of Pokestick is also kind of nice, and then the free Darkened Fan is nice as well. And so what I'm leaning towards doing here, I think even though we don't plan on stacking Sett, we still want to just give him the Iceborne gauntlets. It's such a incredibly powerful ability that will stack it up. There's not a ton of money left over. I do want this one copy of the Darkened Fan that's going to start in our hand every single game, so we'll go ahead and pick it up. With the 70 that's left over, we can't really afford anything. I'm not going to keep rolling out on this ebb to trying to find another item. And so, nice little start, nice little setup. Let's see what we can push to here. We got the item chest up top, the solitary monk to cut a card, or the gold chest down low. I typically like to take this north path within these things, and so let's make sure these battles aren't that horrible. Okay, Omen Hawk with the vulnerable is doable, so we can take this route, I think. Jump on in. See if we can't handle that 22 power unit on the first turn of the game. They always top deck the the one drop against me, and so we'll see how it goes. Man, we have a really strong start if we ever pick up any of the cost reduction thing, right? The cost reduction for every card you've drawn in the turn, starting off with 3 right at the beginning, and then okay, it's not like I saw it came down, and I was like, oh motherfucker, we have to deal with this big unit, but it's not the fearsome round, so it's not that bad.
I'll spot him.
Oh, now we're gonna get domed. He's got the second unit. That's kind of shitty. Kinda shitty. Well, welcome to the damage. I hope we can recover out of that here soon. It's like, I mean, we can get the attentive accountant on board, put the Darkened Fan on it, and then I'm not certain if he wants to just like come in and block with Omen Hawk, but I don't think we can even do that, right? We're just going to well, I guess it's okay. Right? He either blocks it and loses the Omen Hawk, and then we kind of die to an open, or we just don't attack. He can hook the accountant with the sentry, and then we still die to an open. And so let's take it this way. We'll send in the accountant, and now I'm not certain how the AI likes to function on this round, but we really need to find interactive tag out. Perfect. So we shouldn't be dead, right? Famous last words as usual. But let's get the Bard on board. He's going to give us the mana all right back. Oh shit, we need to coin. Glad I didn't miss out on that. We needed to get up the spell mana for the coin. So now we can put the accountant down, have a handful more blockers, and then we have the tag out. Good to have Bard flip happening already. That's wild, right? Flipping fast. How did? Oh, it's the Sett ability. I didn't even put that together with Bard. That's insane. the spend 6 mana, give all your units +2/+2. Okay. I'm on board. Oh, we just spent. Did we spend a full 12 this round? I mean, we got a rally. We must have done it. Okay. All right. It takes me a while to find these combos out. Like you get so used to playing constructed to where the constraints are fairly limited, and then you jump into Path of Champions and it says, "LOL, watch this, bro. Watch what's about to happen here."
Technique is for lightweight.
So we'll get in Sett. Let me count the mana this round. I should have been a little bit more specific with this.
Beat loser. Welcome to the arena.
So we spent 5 on Sett after this attack. Oh, we don't get coins when we attack with Sett. That's Jack. 1 off the accountant. So we have 4. That would get us up to 6 spend. We could play place your bets after, but I don't really see this coming together. Okay. So another dangerous spot. He could technically just lethal us. The opponent doesn't seem super interested in doing it, but he definitely has another one of these turns to where he could hook with both of his big units. or hook our units out of combat and strike with the big unit. So I think we're okay now. We need to track this mana spend. That was 4. We're going to go up to 8 with Bard. Then we'll coin.
Hear that? Gotcha.
And then we'll get the rally this turn. I'm not certain we'll get the kill this turn, but
Looks like a full house. Nice work.
it should be pretty close to it. All right, he helped us out a little bit, taking a bunch of hooks, killing off all of his own board, and now we're kind of set. And so we could have taken this turn a little bit different. If you're not familiar, you can use the Zephyr Sage to copy the coin and then double the number of coins in your hand. I think we had like 5 coins, so we could have taken it up to 10. But it's also tough with the amount of mana you have. It's very easy to see like, oh cool, I've got 10 coins in hand, but I'm only at like the 5 mana turn, so you miss out on it a little bit. All right, good stuff though. I'm liking that Bard, And so, what do we have here? Always happy to add in more bout securities. This is our big combo card, so we're looking to have it. Flash of Brilliance isn't terrible. Right, getting to play it and get the mana right back, it does help with a lot of our mana spend kind of things, but bout securities are just too good to pass up to me. So moving on up into the item chest, what do we got here? Oh shit, another mana deposit on the Coastal Defender. Okay, I'm on board. And so moving forward, we'll cut out the talking here just a little bit. We've got the Yeti Yearling coming up into the Rot Colossus, not a big deal there. And then moving down, our mini boss is going to be the She Who Wanders. If you're not familiar with this one, it can be kind of an annoying battle if you're not used to the small units striking the Nexus dying. But all of our units should be pretty big here. I think She Who Wanders is going to be a pretty good route for us. So off to the Yetis we go. right, welcome back. So, man, that Yetis match, we dropped one, and it was a complete clinic on how to play shitty Legends of Runeterra. And so, just skip that one. Act like that didn't happen. That was brutal stuff. I hope you didn't watch it. And so, moving forward, more Cosmic Bindings is kind of okay. Having it summon a Mighty Poro isn't the worst. You know, you can potentially get that Poro and the stun before combat happens, but it's not, you know, completely ideal. It still strikes me as being better than the double agent, and it's one of these cards that, you know, kind of qualifies as something we might want to cut from our deck later, right? I definitely don't want to cut Coastal Defender now that it has mana deposit, and so it kind of opens things up a bit to the cuts for other cards. So now moving forward, we got the item chest, or the champion item chest, the Ethereal Remitter, and the Monastery of Hirana. I'm trying to think if this is like, this doesn't really strike me as the kind of deck to where we want to hit that Ethereal Remitter, right? The big thing out of the Remitter is going to be, if you're not familiar, this is the path that gives powers that affect both players. And so one of the common ones in this Lissandra round is to go for the Spell Shield. So you get Spell Shield on all of your units, and then they don't suffer from the Buried in Ice. But it doesn't strike me as like something Sett actually wants to do, because like recalls are so good against what Lissandra is doing. So I'm going to skip over that. We'll just add in more copies of Bard. Where are you at, my friend? -2 cost and fleeting. That's kind of interesting. I don't think we want it. I think we would prefer to actually have the heal. But when we know that we're going to like mana deposit Bard onto the board and just get the money back anyways, it's kind of an interesting turn one play. But I think if you kind of caught that last game against the Rot Colossus, to where we played Bard and then we played Sett, and that grew the team, and then we coined and played some more stuff afterwards to hit the rally. I think that that's where we're going to be more often, and the ante-up kind of messes with that. And so I do want to stack in Bard for the additional chimes, but I'm going to just go with the Scepter for the heal. So now into the Monastery of Hirana. You get to cut cards with this thing, right? Yeah, so you can choose a card, cut all copies. I think I would rather hang on to the Smooth Mixologist than the Zephyr Sage, but what's in training? We can quick attack the Pit Professional, which isn't horrible. I don't think we need to... Bout Security always has quick attack, and so yeah, I'll just take the cut on Zephyr Sage here. So now moving forward, we got a power. Where are you at, my friends? When you play a spell, deal 1 to the enemy nexus. I don't think that's going to do anything. Slow but Steady is one of these really strong, cheaty style of cards. I would really prefer to take Slow but Steady as our first power, and then we get to really build our deck around this thing doubling up. Sett doesn't have anything naturally that works with Slow but Steady, right? Place Your Bets is a fast, Cosmic Binding is a fast, and so I don't want to just like take it and then hope that we find something. And so flexible game plan is always good. Spell burn, I don't think that we're going to use. I don't think we're going to be in the space to where we're really casting a lot of spells and getting more than like 2 or 3 points of damage out of any game. I guess there is a world to maybe we could assemble some kind of coin combo, right? I don't know if there exists a way to play a 1-mana coin and then get that coin right back in your hand and then just burn your opponent out that way. I don't think that's a thing. So I'm just going to take a flexible game plan here, and then we'll move on to the She Who Wanders battle. And so if you're not familiar with this, they hit the Frostbite legendary. That's fine. But then when one of our units strikes the foe's nexus, it gets -2 attack. But if the unit had 4 or less power, we obliterate it instead. And so you need to be hitting the opposing nexus with big units. Otherwise, your bros are just going to die. Don't want your bros to die, right? So let's see here. Let's hang on to Sett. Pit Professional is a fine turn 1 play. We just won't attack the opposing nexus with Pit Professional. And then the kind of idea I have in mind with how this is going to go is that we're just going to grow like a bunch of Bout Securities, or we did pick up this, say, Bard into Sett combo again. And I think everything should just be like big enough to interact with this round well.
Win or lose, I'm getting paid. Step into the ring.
Weird noise. It sounds like a cat was doing something weird. So, who knows? We'll investigate later. It's definitely a cat. I think a cat, like, managed to knock a cat toy down here into the basement. It's very, very strange. All right, nonetheless. It's what people come here for anyways. Nobody cares about the actual gameplay. It's all about the kitties, and so shouldn't be surprised. Oh, it's the Roomba. Gotcha. I scheduled the Roomba, and now it's life can be so confusing. All right, focus up. Get back into the action here. The opponent's kind of ahead on board, but they don't have like a lot of real raw power. So we should be in a decent spot next turn to go for the Bard into Sett. Trying to think if we want to like try and cast any of these spells at this point. I think it's okay to just let the turn pass. We're at 10 of 10, so we should probably play something, but I would really like to just take the 3 bank into the next turn. Maybe we look to like see if he attacks and then tag out the bird and replay bird. I think that's okay. So prevent the damage. Take the tag out. Spends a little bit of mana, gives us some coins, and then lets us advance a little bit with these chimes. I think this is okay. It does get us up to 5 coins, so it's a little bit short of what we would want to do. If we want to, say, play 2 bout securities and then coin and then play 2 more, we need... Oh, we do have the 6th coin now. Is that better than playing Bard and Sett? Maybe it is at this point. Just getting more unit. I guess either way, we'll have 3 units on board when the mana hits, or when the bonuses hit. All right, we'll go this way. Add in Bard. That's 4. Sett gets us up to 9 mana for the turn. So we want to go ahead and attack now. Why does the opponent's board suck so much? It's very, very strange to see it happen like this. Okay, so now we can coin. Start dropping in bout securities. I wasn't certain. I mean, it makes sense to me that our overwhelming units do count towards the She Who Wanders power. And so our dudes did take a little bit of a hit here, but
Looks like a full house.
everybody should be about big enough to just survive the round at this point.
Beat losers, get paid.
Let's leave the non-overwhelmed unit. I think this is fine. We could be fairly close to a lethal next turn. It gets interesting in this space with the bards as to where we don't really have the mana to do anything with the chimes, but like what if we get Bard into combat just to have him die so that we could play the mana deposit Bard out of our hand? How did we fuck this up? Probably. Probably did. What's Traveler's Call? I can't remember. Here we go. We can check this in the Oracle's Eye. It looks like our Bard stays. The thing I'm thinking is, like, we have chimes in deck, right? Where it kind of like 1 chime per card. And so with the draw and then the chimes off of the top 3, there's a very real chance that all of our units on board survive. And so maybe we do just look to Traveler's Call. Not try and make any kind of rally this turn, and then next turn we can look to just go for the rally kill. So we preserved our Sett. Now we can come in and face Breaker onto the She Who Wanders so we don't have to deal with it. And then next turn, I think we're good to go for a combo style kill.
Hit him with the old one too.
I'm not intimately familiar with the She Who Wanders deck. I don't think it has any big AoE removals in it. I think the She Who Wanders is kind of the end of the road for them. So let's see. We're going to bout security, then we're going to look to face break, attack, and then see if we finish the game from there. So here's 3 mana.
Nice work. And would it kill you?
This is so much easier than the previous video. We had the bout security as the 1/1 Poro. And so every time, like, I had to count and count and count and count and count. Having these 3-mana bout securities is much more efficient in terms of what my brain is able to comprehend.
No holds barred.
Alright, we're good now, though. We're going to have to take the rally to get the finish, but the stun was very good there. Ooh, getting a Sett flip.
Give 'em a show.
Check those abs. So big. Need to play Viego Sett, just stare at the abs all day.
Looks like a full house. Nice work. And
Alright.
kill you with a smile.
Rip.
Nobody's tougher than me.
So not bad, not bad. I think that game was a very good display of what this deck we crafted is capable of doing. And so I like the just mana deposits everywhere, building into that Bard Sett turn. I think we're off to some good places here. My concern with this deck is like as we get to the like Lissandra battles, is it takes a bit of ramp up time for our units to get up to size, and I worry that she's just going to be bigger than us faster and just nuke us real quick. But we'll see. We'll wait till we get there. We'll just try and keep in mind that could be a thing. So with these cards now, like Jack is always interesting, right? He works very well with the coin theme, but I really just want our champions to be like more copies of Bard. And so like as we get that, draw champion at the beginning of the game, we want it to be Bard, and we don't want to like mingle in these Jacks. And so I guess Bird is okay. The strike ability is not horrible on him. He's not a real mission critical unit, so if he comes down and dies, it's not that big of a deal. Now moving forward, how do we want to path this the rest of the way? Looks like we're stuck on top path, right? So we're gonna have to come up and battle Anivia at the end. So what all do we have here? Mind Meld. I should know what Mind Meld does by now. I take this top path like every single time. But do we want to go for the power up top? The Bone Scryer. What do you have? Formidable round. Formidable is negligible to us. We can handle that fine. The Snail Moth can be kind of annoying. I worry that we can't get on board fast enough for it. And I don't really think we need powers at this point. Like there's no power that our deck really needs to succeed. And so I think we're going to take this middle path. We'll go to the Mind Meld. We'll go to the Bone Scryer. Hit this thing up top. I think at the shop, then we'll be battling Anivia. And then on our way to Lissandra. So into the Mind Meld. Something with spells, right? Choose a card. Oh, cut a bunch of cards. Okay. You gotta pay some health to cut some cards? Sure. Spooth Mixologist, you're gone. What about these? Pit Professional and the Droplets I like. The Bird I like. I think we'll hang on to all of these. Let's keep rolling though. Let's give it one more. Okay, I'll save the last reroll for the last shop. We're definitely not cutting bout securities. I think these should all stay. Alright, so what do we got? The Bone Scryer? Let's battle. Right, so yeah, when you go in the Formidable round, remember everything has Formidable. It really helps with the battle. But here, the Coastal Defender, very happy to add more copies of these. In some of these games, we have gone like Coastal Defender, Bard, and then we still just have a shitload of mana afterwards because they're all kind of free, and so he's very good in here. Very glad to pick up this +1/+3 as well, so that looks strong to me. Moving forward, oh, you can't go to the bottom and fight Ornn if you want. I can't remember which of these is a problem. It's like I think most of our units can survive against Anivia, but I never have problems against the Ornn round. What does Ornn have stacked in? It's a vulnerable round. I do worry about these vulnerable rounds against Ornn when he gets like that 40 attack ram, and then he's able to kind of like pick and choose how the combat's going to go. And so maybe we look to skip over that one. This Frostbite Anivia doesn't seem like that big of a deal. And so off to the shop up at the top, the items with no rerolls. Got a rally attached to the Coastal Defender. I don't think that that's really a thing, but there is an interesting scout out here in the bout security. Trying to think if we're ever able to make scout attacks really work, right? It's like... I'm not really convinced that that's going to be a thing. It's just like as we want to make a scout attack, I think it's just going to get blanked by the bigger units on the other side of the board. So we'll skip over that. Might take this Coastal Defender. I do want that item, but let's see if there's anything worth rolling out here. The Bruiser we can skip. A Rise thing we don't want. Bird with a double attack, we'll probably pick up one copy of it. Time Trick, Disintegrate, not really interested in. Crackshot Corsair, don't really want. So let's do this. I'm going to pick up the Rally. I'm going to pick up the single bird. I don't want to stack bird. Then we'll take a roll for the remainder of this mana. Definitely want to put these items onto the Facebreaker. I'm not certain we want to add more copies of it, though. Otherwise, these cards don't really feel on theme with what we're doing. So, all right, Facebreaker. It's kind of our premier removal spell, so I think that we do want it. Now we'll move into the Anivia round. So she's got the Frostbite thing, and then starts at 10 mana. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Most of our stuff, survives Anivia shots, and so I don't think it's a super bad round for us. It's just like I typically don't go down the Anivia path, and it takes me a while to remember what's actually happening in this battle. We just strike her down right at the beginning. Like if you strike her with bird and then strike the egg. I don't think it's... Well, it's like we actually did hit a chime onto bird for the first turn of the game. Okay, let's see what they do. Usgard. Yeah. So we can take Usgard down. It's just going to take both of our birds at this point. And I guess the other thing I needed to kind of get in my head, I thought about it as we were piecing this out. It's like the first strike would hit Anivia, but then the second strike would not hit the egg. And so that's a bit of an awkward point as well. I think I just want to put in the Attendant and strike and grab the coin. And then try and pop off a bit next turn. Just the downside to doing it this way is our actions take a long time to ramp up, and we're just going to get blasted by this Usgar, and so...
I knew,
just refusing to play Anivia, though.
We owe this land our lives.
So there's a 4 mana spend. Here's an 8 mana spend that's going to boost all of our units. It sucks to be taking all this chip damage right before we go into the final round with no the final round with no bonuses, but it seems like we're doing pretty good here. I'm gonna skip on going big. I want to save our coins, I'm gonna save our bard, and I'm gonna save our Sett for next turn. I think here we just want to say play bird, he's gonna strike down Usgar, play the second bird, he's gonna strike down this other thing, and then like, God, we're really close to lethal with bird having double strike, but I think we want to add the Darkened Fan, and then next turn we'll do stuff with bard and do stuff with Sett. So we want the little bird, He's gonna strike Usgar. And we want other bird. He's gonna strike 2/2. And we'll put the Darkened Fan on something. Might as well put it on bird. It gets a little bit extra damage in. Here comes the rally. Cool, 55 damages coming in. Not bad. You probably just want to open at this point, right? Gain, we're not going to get to gain that 2 mana anyways, I guess, but... What's the worst that happens? We get hit with like Buried in Ice or something? Yeah, let's just go ahead and open. At least try and make them spend the mana, and then if they have to spend the mana to do stuff, they shouldn't be able to stop our follow-up. Did get to gain 2 health. Yay! Alright, so now we'll very easily finish here, right? We'll add in Bard, we'll add in Sett. That's 9 mana. We have coins and stuff to finish off after that. Should be good. Okay, okay. Nice little sequence, nice little combo. Let's see what we can do. Oh, we I was like, let's get that lifesteal in, you know? I guess we... There might have been a way. Some nerd could figure that out. I was like, I saw the 4 from Bird and the 2 from the Dragonling and was like, ooh, that's gonna be enough, but the double strike would have kind of canceled our abilities there. Alright, so I'm happy enough with the deck. Ooh, Coastal Defender with free attack. I don't think we wanna mess with that. Let's just take the Dragon's Rage. I don't think the kicks are gonna be that strong, but it might, let us kick away a Watcher or deals a little bit of Nexus damage. I don't think we want the champion, and then the free attack on the defender does scare me a little bit. We'll take the Dragon's Rage. Alright, I'm just gonna come in and heal. Boop. And then off to battle with Lissandra. Which version is this? The double stat on the first unit? A little scary. A little scary. Just again, I know that we can eventually go toe-to-toe with these like 9/9s that come at us, but the very like initial part of the game is a little frightening. See what we can do though. We got all of our big combos. We got 2 Coastal Defenders. We got Bard. We got Sett. We might be able to just finish this game off really fast.
Nothing beats the feeling of stepping into the ring. This should be fun.
Just prevent the 16. I think if we get a little bit of time, things will turn around a bit. To me, it's like the question is how hard do we want to go? Like, do we want to like play Sett and spend a bunch of mana, or I mean, it's like, do we want to do the double defender Bard turn, or do we want to wait for Sett? I think we'll probably need to wait for Sett so that we can like stun the board, right? I think that we need to be like face breaking 2 units, attacking, rallying, and getting another attack in. Like, it's very tough to overwhelm through all these gigantic monsters that are already down. So let's do this. We're gonna face break. Just hit the 2 biggest ones. We can take 11, that's kind of okay. Keep that 1 mana bank. So when we play our Sett next turn, we'll still have access to a coin mana. God, look at that giant fucking bird, but he has to come out and deal with Trundle. That's a bit of a bummer for him. I guess we could look to maybe just recall Trundle and then get a strike, but the bird's too small to strike the next one down in Lissandra, and so I don't think I'm as on board with that as I'd like to be. So what I think I'm looking at here, I guess we do want to get Bard down. Just this Bard is so small. But what I'm looking to do is play a 4-mana unit and then play Sett, and then attack with Sett, and then get a rally after the Sett attack. Maybe, does that get us to where we want to be? Maybe if we start to use Sett and try and strike down this Trundle, that can be our angle to get him off of the board. Okay. Let's see, I guess we'll put in Bard. Just so small. I wish I knew how the AI responded to us putting like coastal defenders on the board. Right? When our unit is actually just bigger than their unit. I don't know. But we need to make some magic happen this turn. Opponent's going to have buried in ice mana next turn. So we gotta worry about that nonsense.
Technique is for lightweight.
Oh, I forgot Sett's just gonna come in and take the capture. Okay, that makes things a little easier. So now we have the attack. Sett's not gonna die, right? I've mentioned the quick attack with Sett, but this way he's going to get the natural survivability. Oh, the fucking Lissandra round. It always happens without fail. Forget about fucking Lissandra. At least we're still pretty strong on board here.
Nobody's tougher than me. You, me, in the ring.
Our Sett hooks aren't that great though.
Welcome to
It's
the
like
arena.
I really like leaving these just kind of shitty units on the board, right? These Thrall bulwarks just taking up space, but I think we have to worry about dying to a like if he buried in ices and has all these stats on board, then we're gonna be in trouble. All right, dumb game. I forget about the Lissandra ability literally every single time. It's like, oh man, I'm about to do something cool. Check this out. Nope. Turns out you're not going to do something cool.
Get ready for a beatdown. One smack will do.
So Trundle comes back in, but he doesn't have massive stats. We can just add Sett to the board to recapture Trundle, taking a 9 off of the Frostguard Thrall is survivable.
Let's throw down.
Okay, I think we're in decent shape. Like we've got him hamstrung pretty hard here. So it's like, do we ever get to go for a kill on this turn? Some of these units should be... Well, it's interesting, right? The accountant we can overwrite. The bird coming back onto board is gonna strike something, and so he can do a big damage if he wants. Let's do this. Let's add in Bard. Let's actually just add in Coastal Defender. He's so much bigger.
From shores to hills.
And then I'm gonna face break, and then see where we stand in terms of generating a lethal this turn. So that's gonna +2/+2 us.
Hit him with the old
Got 5 mana behind, so that would be like an Entomb would be the common play, I think.
For the autumn orchard.
Welcome to the arena.
So picks up the 3 sisters you can't cast. Well played, my friend, well played. So we're coming in for 20. How many coins are we gonna have? 4? So that's kind of like break-even coinage. The Sett and a bird. Let's replace the bird. Probably played the wrong bard. The other bard had a little bit more stats. I think we might still be able to pull something off. 50's kind of far away, but
Give it up for the reigning champ!
let's see.
For the summer fields.
40. It's nowhere near 50, am I right? But we still get to kind of take over this board.
In the ring.
Take off the Frostguard Thrall. We have the Showstopper we can drop onto Trundle, and then we have a lot of spells for the next turn. I think that we're okay. I think we're set as far as this battle goes. Set with Sett, if you will.
They call this getting your bell rung.
Give him the old bell ringer. Look at that. Sett, you cast a spell, and he says, "This is how you get your bell rung." And we got our bird the bell ringer out here. Planned it that way. I think we're good. It's like an opponent needs to Buried in Ice. Can we burst speed? No, we can't. We're pretty far away from dropping a burst speed play here. Now that he's added Bordir, we know we're good. He's not gonna do any big removals on us. So we'll put in the stun. That's 4 mana.
Hit him with the old one too.
I'll bring in the tag out, I guess. Get that shit out of here. Get that shit out of here. Nobody wants the Watcher out here trying to battle. Let's see. We'll coin. Is he just free every time? I thought we were going to be doing something a little bit more clever, but we have the rally pretty easily here in hand. Just take the attack at this point. We could drop the Showstopper on the old Watcher just to bring the thunder that way, but
For our home. For the summer
we'll
fields.
finish it off with a little bit less
I
style.
saw you looking at me. You, me, in the ring.
I think we did it. I think we boomed him. GG, well played. Victory against Lissandra. And so, not bad, not bad. I feel like we had a pretty good run here. I know it was a bit wordy at the beginning, trying to figure out which champion and stuff we wanted, but I think what we assembled panned out pretty well. The real winner of the deck that we assembled here was picking up all of those mana deposits and then using the mana deposits to really churn through with what we were able to do with Sett. And so I agree, the Coastal Defender looking pretty strong. I like the combos we had to where we would say Coastal Defender, Bard, or Coastal Defender, Bard, Sett, or, you know, Bard into Sett, into Coin, into doing other things. We had a lot of really, you know, powerful combos. This was a bit less of a bout security based combo deck and much more in tune with these Coastal Defenders that have the mana thing, and then also the Bard that has the mana deposit. But I feel like across the last video and this video, we really hit on a lot of the high points in terms of building around Sett and picking out the combos that are going to be strong with him, and then pushing through there. Since the core of the deck is so strong, you do really get to focus in on making those combos work. And so, good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. This is Bust and we thank you for being here.